Warning, this video is not targeted towards kids. There might be some horrible stuff I might say in here. You've been warned. Hey everyone, I know that in my last video I said I was going to come back to this channel and I haven't posted anything in like 3 months, but I will try to come back making videos for this channel, but I won't make any promises. I am currently writing the script for my 2024 video, but that will take a while, so hopefully that will come out sometime this year. But anyway, let's get into my review of Snow White. Snow White is currently the recent movie from Disney, and this is a remake based off the 1937 film, and this is just There are some things I liked, but there's a lot of things I don't like. When it comes to the original Snow White, I really don't have much nostalgia for it, and technically it's not the first feature-length animated movie, but what I do appreciate about the original is that it's not only an achievement to filmmaking, but it's also the pioneer to what animation is today, for better or for worse. The biggest praise I could really give this movie is the performance by Rachel Zegler, or whoever the fuck her last name is. She does do a pretty decent job here. Her singing though is quite good, but there are certain notes in the movie that I was like, couldn't you do another take with this or something? Another praise I could really give this movie is the production design, especially the costume designs. Those were really cool. One last thing I like a little bit about this movie is the Seven Dwarves, and that's about it. Again, this movie is just Like to clarify, I don't hate this movie. It's just a mediocre remake. The best way I could describe my feelings on this movie is just a Frankenstein's monster of ideas. Like, I can tell they had an idea of what they could have done, but at the same time, they're being forced to keep ideas from the original. It just didn't work. One of the major things they added to this movie is the bandit characters, and I can tell that this is the original plan they had for this remake, but due to some bullshit backlash which I can't remember, they shoehorned in the Seven Dwarfs, which hey, I still like the Seven Dwarfs in this, but I can tell that they were added in at the last minute. Speaking of bandits, let's talk about the character Jonathan. He's supposed to be the love interest for this movie. Him and Snow White, they do have chemistry with each other, but it's just very underdeveloped. Like, yeah, they have a moment with each other, but I felt like it could have been so much more. Another thing about this remake is they added new songs in this, and it just doesn't work here. Not to mention, the singing for these new songs could range from pretty decent to just pretty bad. The instrumentals for these songs are just meh, like they're good, but they really don't fit the tone for the scenes. Plus, some of these instrumentals feel like leftovers from other Disney movies. As much as I didn't care for Amelie Perez in terms of me just feeling nothing to that movie, I at least enjoyed the music in that, like Disney. There's a song from Amelia Perez called La Vaginoplasty, and that's way more memorable than anything from Moana 2, Mufasa, and now Snow White. Get your shit together. Also, this movie's just barely funny. There was only like 2 times the audience laughed, including me. There was one performance I haven't really mentioned in this review, and that was Gal Gadot as the evil queen. Her performance is just laughable. Like, come on. For a movie that costs over $200 million, you expect a decent performance, and hers, it's just bad. I can tell that she wants to be like the classic Disney villains, but for how the direction is, her performance is just try hard without any substance. But the only time I even believe in her performance was during her singing. Some of the CGI ranges from okay to just bad. Like one major example is the Seven Dwarfs. Sometimes they looked okay, and other times they look creepy as hell. I've mentioned before that this movie felt a little bit sloppy, and you can tell with the last like 15 minutes. Like in the original, when Snow White goes into a deep sleep from that poison apple, it was quite a serious scene, like that lasted quite a bit towards the end. But here, it only lasts for like 2 scenes, and it doesn't really give an impact. And I know what you're wondering, what do they do for the last 15 minutes since she's awake now? Well, here's the thing. They do try to make a whole thing where like Snow White, the dwarves, the bandits, and everyone in the kingdom against the evil queen. I can tell that they really want to do something here in terms of like the messaging, but due to how clunky the script is, it just really doesn't work. Before I give this movie a rating, I want to mention something that grinds my gears. Movies like this are a waste of your hard-earned money. Think about it for a minute. For how much people spend their money at the movies, I feel like we should take account in terms of ticket prices for a second. Let's say you're a mother with a husband or boyfriend or whoever the fuck you date and 2 of your kids, and you go to the theater like at 4 p.m. Later screenings like that are usually more expensive. That alone costs like $20 for an adult and $18 for a child, and in total, that rounds up to almost $80. But wait, there's more. You gotta remember, oh shit, I need to feed my family. So you go to the concession stand. A large popcorn is about $11. If you want a large drink for you and your spouse, that's about $8.99. And if you want 2 small drinks for you little shits, and that's about $7.99 each. So when you add up the tickets plus the food you spent, in total, that rounds up about, drumroll please, $110.
What in the fuck?
And not for what? A Disney remake you're gonna forget in T minus 1 day. You could have waited until it comes to Disney Plus and you would have saved about $60 worth of tickets. And plus for food, you could have easily gotten a pizza and some other food that would have been far more cheaper to how much you would have spent at the theater. Now this is not going to be a debate about streaming is better than the theater, but this is something to keep in mind. If you're going to spend all this money at the theater, why keep going to these mediocre Disney remakes that you're just going to forget? Like, come on. And I know that people have the right to see whatever movie they want, but this is just something that grinds my gears. Anyway, I wouldn't really recommend the Snow White remake. If anything, if you really want to watch this, wait till it comes to Disney Plus or pirate it or bury it, watch a different movie that's way better, like Novocaine. Like that one's a really good time. And since we're talking about kids movies, might as well watch The Day the Earth Blew Up. That one's a pretty decent time. Might not be amazing, but is way more memorable than Snow White. And I'm giving Snow White a 4 out of 10. So that was my review of Snow White. Again, sorry for not any uploads, but I will try, and I mean try to upload anything. If not, then I'll go fuck myself. I'm Ricky the Kitsune, signing off.